Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and with me, as always, is Mr. Kyle Ferguson. Ferguson of the Kyle, how be you this week?
I'd be excellent. That was a formal introduction. I am still recovering from the bummers that you left me with last night when we had a perfect five-man team that was destroying everything except for my rating.
Your rating?
Because it was making my rating go up, you
see.
see.
But then why is it a bummer?
Because you left. You had to go.
Oh, well, excuse me. It was 1 a.m.
Well, you know.
All our West Coast buddies showed up at midnight when I was about to go to bed, and then I'm like, oh, the gang's all here. I can't go to sleep now. And
they got kids. They got to put them to bed. I'm on the coast, too, so, you know, you just got to get your ass out here.
Yeah, find me work, sir. Find me work, and I will gladly move out there. We'll just make that a Patreon goal.
Well, dude, you were representing some serious Zagara. I don't know when you got so good at that, but it was awesome.
I've always been good at Zagara. Blizzard was just so kind to nerf everyone else into the ground and leave her alone, so now she's really good.
Fair enough. Buff for you, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's as if you always owned a Prius and then all the other cars got slower. Just like, oh, well, I guess I have the drag car now.
We can market this as a muscle car.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That would absolutely, that'd just be wonderful. Well, yeah, no, I've been playing almost nothing but Zagara this week. I know last week I was like, I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to get Vikings and I'm going to get in. Then I was watching some streams and people were owning face with Zagara, and I'm just like, now is my time to shine. I've been training for this day. Because Zagara is without a doubt my favorite hero in this game. And she doesn't suck right now. So that's really all I played this week. I did, for the good of the team last night, bust out the Uther.
Good, yes, that went excellent.
Yeah. So it was a damn good night of games last night. I think I played 5 or 6 games, but and I won every single one of them.
According to D-Day, I am the only Tassadar in the world right now playing support.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Yeah, Kyle's not lying to you because we got into a draft game last night in ranked, pre-made, 5 people, and I'm assuming against another pre-made of 5 people, and draft happens. Neither of us, like not us and not the team we're about to go against, grabs any supports. So Kyle at the very end just goes, I guess I'll take Tassadar because I don't really, like, you don't really know how to play any other supports, right? Like, you
I don't think I even own them, yeah.
Yeah, you can Malfurion in a pinch, but you don't really prefer it.
Sure.
And so you went Tassadar, and you went, what is it? It's like a perma shield build, and then just a talent that when someone is shielded and they do basic attacks, it heals them.
Yeah, 10% of their basic attack damage.
That's like all we needed. It was amazing because we had a Thrall who could heal himself. We had Neon Zagara, which she can heal herself. I forget what the rest of the team was, but we were all pretty good at self-sustaining, and it like worked. We demolished the other team. I think was that the game where we were up 4 levels at one point?
Yes, it was. It was embarrassing for them, and kind of boring for us. I think I died out of sheer just neglect at one point. But it was awesome. And, you know, Tassadar playing that way is getting helped out a lot by nerfs to other heroes that are making those self-sustaining heroes better, like Illidan, like Sonya. I've seen, you know, even support-free teams that really focus in on self-healed heroes, Thrall as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange, but it seems to work in certain scenarios. Obviously, if the other team is, you know, all meta all the time, they have a perfect team with support. It's probably not going to go so well. But in our case, the team we were going up against, they didn't have one, so it
worked out. I think Stitches was the last pick too, so we were just in some weird sort of alternate world.
Yeah, no one on our team wanted to play him. Which is fine. Not how I prefer to play the game, but it's okay.
And thank you to everyone out there who auditioned this last week by messaging me as Stitches.
Oh, I saw a few of those. Have you played with anyone? Has anyone made the cut?
Yeah, I had 2 people make the cut, and then I had I think it was Run Neo Run, got in a game with me, and we played 3 games, and every single one Stitches got picked by the other team. Huh. So we're just getting smashed, and he can't even show off his best guy.
Oh, that's no good. I know Jim Bob's in the chat room, who's my go-to. He's my pocket Stitches. That's what I've been affectionately referring to you, sir. I'm sorry. I know you're a real person with a personality, but to me, you're just a pair of stitches.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. We've got to represent.
Oh, yeah, it's a good time. But I've been having a good week in Heroes. Good week. Bad week in Hearthstone. Great week in Heroes. So
Well, it's towards the end of the season.
it's when it should be easier, man. I'm having a rough week. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's
maybe in the 20s, but you're pushing, what, 10 right now?
No, I'm in the single digits, and I dropped a rank today, and I'm not happy about it.
Gotcha.
Not happy about it at all. But whatever. We came here to talk Heroes, and that's what we're going to do. Let's get into this week's news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Click the play button, and let's get started.
Just a reminder, folks, if you want to submit a story to Into the Nexus, you can do so at itncast.reddit.com, or you can go there and upvote stories you'd like to see on the show, or just talk about Heroes. Actually, you should all go check it out right now, because we got all kinds of stuff going on over there, some of which we'll talk about later. But first up this week, competitive team tier lists have been popping up. Now, tier lists are nothing new for Heroes of the Storm, but we're finally starting to see some from pro Heroes players that are post-patch. So
Right, and we had those a long time ago. Now they're kind of being ironed out now that the new meta is surfacing. And it's important when listening to these, they are suggestions for you playing alone. If you are not competing in a competitive scene, most of this stuff probably won't apply to you if you're just really damn good at like a tier 4 hero. Who cares? I mean, if you're the best Murky on Earth, you're the best. It doesn't really matter in solo queue.
Right. Like we just talked all this, all this good stuff about Zagara, and she's nowhere near the top of these lists.
No, apparently.
But yeah, we're going to be talking about. We have links to all of these, by the way, in the show notes. If you ever want to find the show notes for Into the Nexus, you just go to amove.tv/ITN. Not you live crowd, because it's not posted yet, but podcast listeners, it's probably there.
I think the most important thing about looking at these is really seeing what's socially acceptable for you to play in Hero League at the moment.
So this is like your etiquette class for Heroes of the Storm? So
Exactly, because like the chat room's talking about right now, but Diablo is pretty awesome at the moment. Like he's got good fluidity, he's slamming people around, decent health, but it's just, it's a faux pas to bring it into Hero League.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, if you want to take your Rhaegar to the Cotillion later this year, you have to learn your etiquette. So this is where you do that. First up, we're going to talk about Cloud9's iDream, player iDream, who actually used to be a League of Legends top laner for VVV Gaming and Team Normal Stars. But now he's on the Cloud9 team. He actually debuted with that team at BlizzCon, just last year when they had the show tournament for Heroes of the Storm.
Nice.
And he put out a list recently that you can find over on heroesofthestorm.github.io. And it's interesting. He has 6 tiers 1 through 6. Some people categorize it differently, but that's the way he does it. And let's start with his tier 1. iDream says that tier 1 heroes are Asmodan, Illidan, Rhaegar, and Uther.
Wow.
Which, outside of Uther, things have changed.
Yeah,
if that's the case.
Clearly. A bit. Asmodan up in tier 1 is rather incredible, and this is really all thanks to the Asmo Dunk build that's been going around.
Yes, absolutely, and wonderful YouTube videos to accompany them.
Oh, the NBA jams music going on in the background. I love it. There was also some awesome Asmodan play in today's ESL, casted by Kaldor, if you want to check him out. This guy was taking full advantage of the 50% bonus damage with the range, and just never even really standing in team fights. Just slamming people from far away, and mixing that with the black pools you stand in, and then it gives you a slow later on. It's a dangerous world out there, and that's pretty rocking.
Yeah. Now, I know our buddy Ben's very excited about Rhaegar being considered tier 1. And, in my experience, it certainly seems to be the case. I'm seeing a lot of Rhaegar in the ranked games that I'm going into. I still do a lot of pickup games, so I can just go in there alone, solo queue. And it hasn't been so bad, and I'm seeing a lot of Rhaegars.
Right, and at this tier, that's to be expected. It's a very finicky class. There's a certain way to move when playing as Rhaegar, and something I've been working with Ben on. He likes to hover in the back and play sort of, a WoW-style support here, whereas Rhaegar, you got to get in those auto attacks. I mean, your little bites with Feral Lunge are what's contributing to a lot of last hits and getting those kills. Blood for blood as well. I mean, really, the only things you're taking is Earth Shield and Healing World for healing. The rest is all, to keep you alive and do some damage.
Yeah. Now, the tier 2 heroes that I Dream have listed here is E.T.C, which, did we mention at the top? Well, we're going to talk about him in strategy, and this is mainly the reason he's incredibly strong now after a lot of his fellow warriors were nerfed into the ground a bit. Rest in peace,
Yep.
Arthas. Also in tier 2 here for iDream, Jaina, Malfurion, Nazebo, Sonya, Tassadar, and Zeratul. Sonya, I'm surprised to see here. Everything else,
Yeah.
I'm like, I agree with this. I'm very happy to see Jaina up there because she, another assassin who kind of just, she had a couple minor changes, but nothing huge. But she just everyone else kind of got taken down a peg, and she stayed the same and kind of rose to the top, much like Zagara kind of feels right now.
Right, and Sonya was what I was talking about earlier with heroes that heal themselves, and suddenly that allows you to do some more unique combinations and maybe not focus so heavily on supporting, just a pile of meat like Diablo might be. She heals a lot by herself.
I like the way you put that.
Oh, Stitches, I mean, all these, even E.T.C, like these are heroes that can at least somehow regenerate their own health with an ability.
Yeah. Actually, I'm double checking. I don't think Jaina got any, at least noted changes.
No, and I think that's just, seeing her up here is just progress of time, her range and everything else. And much like StarCraft maps, there's certain spaces that the heroes developers are providing in the maps to wiggle through trees and whatnot. And Jaina's Blizzard, augmented or unaugmented, just does work.
It is such a good move. Do we get to mention Uther and Jaina? Do we get to mention that little combo?
Did we do that last week? I'm not sure. Either way, that was awesome of us. We were totally sweet, high-fiving the whole way home.
I don't think that was last week, because I think was that our after show game last week?
Perhaps? I'm not sure.
I don't remember. Oh, wait, I didn't stick around for it, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was after last week's show. But yeah, Uther stun with a blizzard on top of it is just kind of gross.
Yeah.
I love it. Tier 3, Kerrigan, Muradin, Sergeant Hammer, Stitches, Tychus, Tyrande, and Vala. I'm surprised not to see Stitches and Vala higher here.
Yeah, well,
Tychus,
that's just, it's practically tradition at this point. You just do it out of, tip in your hat. Welcome to the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, they've moved down. Stitches, of course, lost quite a bit of his self-heal power. The cooldown on his hook last week did a little bit of work. More that just, other tanks got better and Vala has fallen behind. I'm surprised to see Kerrigan in here, though, because she's been everywhere in my Heroes League. In fact, I played with a Master Skin Kerrigan this past week that was total Merc focused. And, all that damage was able to power through them really quickly, but she never contributed to any fights. It was a bizarre build.
Yeah, and again, iDream did 5 tiers here, and tier 3, that's middle of the pack. And actually, we're also going to talk a little bit about Tempo Storm Arthalon's tier list, and he put Kerrigan at tier 2. Granted, he had an S tier, so it's S tier, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then everything below tier 3. So they're kind of in agreement here, it looks like, between the two of them, Arthalon and iDream. I feel like tier 3, it's still totally fine if you have a middle of the pack. It's still a good, strong hero.
And it's also important to know, check out this website for yourself when you get the link off our website. These heroes are often dependent on which alt they're picking. Like even one of the tier lists here makes a point that Nazebo is tier 2, but if he takes the wrong alt, he's trash tier.
Oh, yeah. Arthalon had a tier called the LOL tier, which is the lowest, and Nazebo with Gargantuan is under there, along with Abathur and Murky and Brightwing. I'm so sad about that.
Brightwing now is lowered quite a bit after all the nerfs. I think she is an excellent counter pick to someone like Illidan, who is in tier 1 of both these lists. Him flipping over, really anyone like Thrall, Sonya, or Illidan that are going to be healing themselves based on the damage they do, Brightwing is a straight-up counter.
Yeah. Polymorph's going to kind of throw a wrench in there.
Flip over you and I'm a squirrel. Okay.
Yeah, Polymorph or anyone who could, stuns also really suck. So, and that's the thing is you can just pick Uther and you can stun them, and then you can also be a good healer.
Tychus also made it down to tier 3 now after being tier 1 for a long time. And that is 100% due to the removal of his second health bar.
Oh, absolutely. Makes complete sense. He's still really good, though. I'm loving the drill, man. For anything like, you Dragonshire, you got to take the shrines. What else am I thinking of? My brain.
Sky Temple.
Sky Temple. If you're fighting around the turn-in on Blackheart's Bay, I mean, the drill is just, it's wonderful.
Yeah, you could make an argument for Cursed Hollow as well. But some of the, the more roamy maps where no one's really going to mix each other up, like Garden of Terror, for the most part, if the whole team is there fighting a single terror, the other team just goes to the other one. Or they contest it and it gets so wacky in those bushes, you're not going to be hitting anything with that range until level 20. So Tychus, I think, is now in a great place. I'm sad to see the Odin go. It took me quite a few games to kind of get a hold on my Odin play once again. And it's not what it was, of course. You can dash, which is bizarre, and slide across the ground on little tank treads, but it's not quite the survivability you need.
No, you need to do it out of the fight and then get into the. It's it's just supposed to up your damage, but yeah, it's still good. It's still really good, but I really like the drill at the moment.
Yeah, I agree completely, and it works towards the Blizzard model of different heroes being good on different maps.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the tier 4 here for my dream. You had Abathur, Brightwing, Chen, Diablo, Falstad, Lili, Nova, Raynor, Thrall, Tyrael, and Zagara. To which I say, Zagara should be higher. and Tempo Storm's Arthalon agreed with me because he had Zagara under tier 2.
Interesting to see Chen down here along with Raynor, actually, after all the sort of mix-up in his abilities he got this past patch. But Raynor's basic attack damage is real low, and that's what he brought to the table.
Yeah, and to be honest, we're also looking at Arthalon's list here. He's kind of unsure about Raynor. He said he might put him up in tier 3, but he's not 100% sure.
Right, and he's unproven at the moment. He's in an odd place. It used to be just with all the stuns and everything else going on in the background, Raynor was a perfect pick to even out a team with some auto attack damage. And now maybe the Merc build will come. I'd love to see it, but I dare not try it in my hero leagues.
Yeah, we haven't seen really a Merc build work or really become a thing for anyone so far.
No, not since the huge Merc patch where it's only when you're standing next to them that they're buffed at all.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like with that change, and just with the way the game is in general, where it's such a heavy emphasis on team fights. If what you bring to the table is I'm really good when there's mercs. Well, what happens when all of the camps are on cooldown? You're kind of a dud on the team.
Exactly.
So that's I don't know. I'd like to see something happen with that. And then in the bottom of the list on iDream's list here is Anubarak, Arthas, Gazlo, and Murky. Pretty much what I kind of expected. I'm so very sad about Arthas. I was talking with our friend D-Day last night, and he's just like, so how's heroes treating you, man, with, your 2 favorite heroes now being garbage? I was just like, well, when you put it that way, pretty well, since I taught myself to Uther and Zagara. So... Yeah,
Arthas, he's been good ever since the game came out. This recent rearranging of his talents and messing with some of the ranges.
Sir, he was good after his first big change. He was kind of crappy when Tech Alpha first started.
He didn't have Death Coil. That wasn't even Arthas.
Just crap. It was so bad.
That was that elemental dude wearing the hat.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anyone that I guess Tychus was it for you? Like anyone that you play a lot of that was changed and you've been having trouble adjusting to?
That's the big one for me. I loved Odin. There's been times where I have been vocal of never give up and pull the Odin down and just defend that core and feel like a complete badass. It's been a huge blow, but it's been really exciting to take the drill this past week and figure out completely new builds, mostly involving the grenade, because with the drill I just don't need all those abilities like First Aid and Stone Skin in order to keep myself alive.
Yeah. It's kind of exciting. At least your hero is still pretty darn good. And it's exciting that you get to kind of go down a new tech route, which is fun. I'm sitting here just kind of like, I paid money for these heroes and they kind of suck now. Damn it.
Right. It wasn't such like a horrible nerf that, I'm regretting having infested Tychus. But, that is some of the dangers right now of playing in the beta. If you invest in some nice skins, there is a chance that your hero turns into crap.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with Frostworm Arthas, and I have no interest in playing him right
now. That's a shame.
Yeah, makes me sad. Totally, first world problem of the year, but,
We're talking about video games here, man. They're nothing but first world problems.
You're damn right.
You don't even need to preface that. You can just make the assumption.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever had this thought, this kind of reaction to a game before. I see this kind of stuff frequently, in other game communities. Anytime a class gets nerfed in WoW, God forbid it's rogues, folks lose their mind. But for whatever reason, I've never had that feeling. Even when I was a paladin, they got nerfed in World of Warcraft. I was just like, whatever, it's fine. But something about this, because it's I spent money on that one specific thing, or just kind of oh, that sucks.
Well, it's PvE. If it's really egregious, they're going to change it in World of Warcraft because you got to work as a team and you put that huge investment into it. And this is more I thought Arthas was cool and now you messed with him.
And now, there's kind of an equivalent in Hearthstone. A card that you spend a crap ton of dust crafting can get nerfed, and they'll actually give you the full cost of that crafting cost back. It's I kind of wish they would do that for heroes. It's just well, this hero was changed. You can return him for full cost and buy something else.
Right. We've just come out of alpha pretty recently. Hearthstone, looking at the development history of that game, it was in there for a long time, and a lot of the stuff was pre-thought out. I think it is sad that, when nerfs come, some money doesn't float around or points or whatever, and it's particularly upsetting when, you want to buy a bundle, but you own 2 of the heroes and there's no discount on that.
Or there's an awesome tiger mount, but it's stuck with 2 really ugly skins that no one wants.
Right. Don't you want to dress up the pandas in pajamas?
Yeah. Stuff like that happens, but... Again, fine-tuning, stuff that's obviously not required for the launch of the game, but stuff I'd like to see.
Sure, definitely.
So, any other comments on these tier lists?
I'm sad to see Abathur so low. I've been thinking about him a lot this past week, going into quick match, in fact, just because I love playing him. But it is a funny world where you can imagine him still having ult powers, and what happens when he picks a Lost Viking? Is he one of them? Does he get the boat? I can totally see why coming down the pipeline, they had to X that.
Yeah.
I still think Abathur is a great choice when you have someone even a Thrall or in situations, but most certainly a Jaina is what I love to copy just because their basic abilities are so awesome.
Yeah. It's and this is something we talked about when they, it was a few weeks ago when they had a blue post on the changes to Abathur and why they were doing it and whatnot. And it's something we brought up that I totally get, what a nightmare it must have been to try and design any other heroes with Abathur's ultimate existing.
Right.
So I think it's a good thing in the long run. I think we're going to get faster iteration. I think we're going to get much more creative heroic abilities as a result.
Definitely. And for lower tier players, this is a problem in StarCraft as well. You have the high tier where people can think they are, but really only the pro players are there and they have their balance problems. And then us on the low tiers have, different problems, but we can communicate with them. I totally see how copying a hero that has a massive stun like Gazlo is a huge problem in low tiers because stuns are amazing and no one dodges them.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to StarCraft, man, I'm sitting in Bronze League. Dude, you know what they need to nerf? 6 pools.
Yeah, pretty much. That's your concern.
6 pools and cannon rushes.
They took away the Herc, man.
Did they?
Yeah, the newest build, that Herc with the grappling hook, new unit for Legacy of the Void.
So they just can't figure out how to build a new mech unit for Terran, is what you're telling me.
It came out of the barracks, but yes, they cannot add units to the Terran.
Just specifically mech units, because the what was it, the Warhound, which was basically looked like a portalet on legs, went in. Oh wow, this is broken. Take it out. And now the Herc. The game hasn't even come out yet, and it's gone.
They still have the speedy little railgun, which was messing up everyone's day at BlizzCon. But
jeez. All right, well that's wonderful. Kyle, you're a big fan of hotlogs.com, and I'm a big fan of hating on the name of their website.
I think we can all agree on that.
It is the worst name ever. First of all, guys, it's not HOTS, it's Heroes. Stop it. Everyone, please stop it.
It won't matter in a couple months, okay? By June, Legacy of the Void will be out, I hope, because I'll need a summer strategy game.
Latva, as I like to call it.
Yeah, there we go. And we'll be having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, look at you with those, whatever.
And then HOTS won't seem like such a egregious error. But for now, and the fact that it's logs.
It sounds like poop.
It's hot 6 days all over again.
Oh, see, this just reminds me of like poop jokes. Just
yeah, exactly.
Oh man, excuse me. Can you watch the phones for a minute? I gotta drop a hot log.
Gotta check my hot logs.
Really, really appreciate it. This has gone too far. Despite the terrible name, hotslogs.com is actually a pretty dope ass website, and they apparently do like a weekly snapshot of win rates and game length by battleground, and it's very interesting. I did not know this, so thank you for pointing it out to me, Kyle.
Yeah, so this is, of course, the general combination of every game that is uploaded to them. If you make an account, you can link to your account and then have these automatically updated as you play games. And, check your score, see what your win rate is on various maps. A lot of this information that you got from Hotlogs is now in your own profile. But it can give you an idea of your hidden MMR, which is probably the most important thing. There is ways to not automatically link it, so some of this data is slightly skewed by those individuals who choose to upload certain games singularly.
Okay. Well, we do the same thing anytime we talk about the monthly statistic report from Hearthstats about Hearthstone. It's the same thing. It's not a perfect system, but it's a large enough sample size that it's still very interesting to take a look at.
Right. There may be people out there that are so terrible that they don't want these numbers online, and they could, put these in more realistic patterns. But this is updating every 7 days, so we have a really cool look at what kind of changes, percent-wise in win rates, have happened with some of these heroes. And now take everything we just talked about with the tier list and throw it away, because this is the facts for you people playing by yourselves.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is crazy. So like the highest for win percentage right now as of this week, according to hotlogs.com, is the Lost Vikings.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because if the hero's fresh, costing extra, only people who are super into it are going to play.
Yep. And as we saw with our buddies last night, strong hero.
Yeah, real strong. In fact, I had no idea until last night that Vikings taking regenerative spheres, was it? When they grab the little globes and get bonus health, it is in fact, each one is shared among the 3 Vikings, but if you split them into 3 lanes, all 3 of them can be grabbing the orbs out of each lane and just send that thing skyrocket. We were at like minute 7, and they had 13 stacks.
That's insane. Uther, I was playing Uther in our last game last night. We're pushing the core, and I had 11. This is like the end of the game.
Great. Right, so for Vikings, it's called Viking Horde. It's your level 1 choice, but it's pretty much the exact same thing as what you'll find on most tanks, except for it does preface that when it is picked up and splits into 3, you aren't getting 3 stacks automatically.
Okay. Well, that's insane.
Yes.
That's really good. Yeah. Oh, man, I can't remember the guy we were playing with last night. He was the one person I didn't know we were playing with last night that was doing that, and it was nuts.
Viper's friend.
Yeah, just Viper's friend is what we'll call him.
Yeah, he was rocking it. And, it takes a certain amount of skill and awareness from other games like StarCraft to, control the Lost Vikings well.
Absolutely. Control them with control groups and whatnot. It's good stuff. And box selecting, which, again, I'm still so excited is even a thing with them.
Sure.
So, yeah, below the Lost Vikings is Brightwing with a 56.6% win rate. So, meta be damned.
This will be real interesting to check in on next week to see if, these tier lists have had an effect on the overall mentality of Brightwing. Right now, when it comes to solid picks, she is the top for healers in solo queue. And I think Brightwing has excellent synergy with Lost Vikings because you need that area heal. Same with our next up, Rhaegar, which is 55.9.
Yep.
Which, saying these numbers in the 60s and 50s range, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, if you're over 50% win rate, that's good because, the Blizzard's goal is a 50% win rate. So if you're even slightly above that with a hero, that's impressive. So Lost Vikings, Brightwing, Rhaegar, Nazebo with 55.4%, Sergeant Hammer with 54.9%, Asmodan barely underneath Sergeant Hammer, Uther barely underneath Asmodan. It's a really small spread between all of these, but it's interesting. What's more interesting is on the low end of the scale, folks with like a lower than 50% win rate. Murky's at the very bottom, and so is Abathur and Shen. So there's a good correlation there with the tier lists we've been looking at this week and Hotlogs numbers.
Right, and Abathur 43% win rate shouldn't surprise really anyone. It's so team dependent, and a lot of these numbers are coming out of quick match. Where hey, if you got a Murky and an Asmodan to pick from for copying, we're not going to get a lot done here.
Yeah.
But the real sad thing is Murky at the very bottom, the 41.3%, moved down a whole 10.1% over the last week. So since the patch, lost 10% of their wins.
Yeah. My favorite thing about this, there is an option, like there's an entry for random pick. Auto select has an entry, and it has a 47.8% win rate overall.
It's slightly up, too, by 0.5. You did it, patch.
It is also the lowest amount of entries, because it'll tell you how many games were played for each of these, and auto select only had 10,000 entries. I'm sorry, Murky actually is lower than that. Murky only had 6,086 games logged on Hotlogs. That's rough. Murky just got slammed.
They're waiting to see what talents everyone picks other than the autos, but it's going to be a long week for Murky players until that patch comes.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I'm interested in is the game length of each battleground, because as I was mentioning last week, it feels like the games are going way longer, and Hotlogs is here to tell me you're an idiot.
Yes, apparently just your games are long, and mine too, particularly on Garden of Terror, which is clocking in normally at 23 minutes for most people.
Yeah. And that's the longest one. And then Blackheart's Bay is 22, Dragonshire's 22, Cursed Hollow averages around 20, almost 21. And then Haunted Mines and Sky Temple are the shortest. Definitely get Sky Temple. Actually, Haunted Mines too. Both of those have their mechanic is so swingy.
Yeah, Sky Temple, I'm a little surprised that it doesn't reach that 10-minute mark. I almost always get to the all three turning on at 20 minutes because that's just such a game-ending moment, but you can usually hold on before then. Haunted Mines, though, is definitely snowbally. You mess up that very first encounter in the mines, and you're behind. Nothing really you can do about it. Losing forts.
I mean, it can still happen. I've definitely had comebacks. I had probably my best comeback ever on Sky Temple with D-Day last night before you joined us. I haven't really had a good back and forth game on Sky Temple yet until last night. We were on the back foot and just doing terribly. And I even at one point I was like, well, this game is over. And D-Day's like, I don't know. And I'm like, you, sir, are an eternal optimist. And then we came back and won it. So I was impressed. That was a real good game. I need to start streaming Heroes more because I've had some really interesting games lately.
Yeah.
So, again, everyone, you can head over to hotlogs.com right now to see the statistics we are talking about. HOTSlogs.com.
And, of course, my favorite of all the statistics here, Diablo up by 7.9%. Hell yeah.
Nice. You picked out your nice little, your selfish pick.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Arthas is up. So, I guess he's not totally crazy. But I don't know, man. It doesn't feel good to play right now.
No.
We had some hot fixes since the last patch. You can see these over on the official Heroes forums. Starting with the first one, the Reconnect system has received several improvements. So they said it should help players more quickly rejoin in-progress Heroes matches from which they've disconnected. I haven't had to reconnect recently, thank God, but I hope it's quicker because, man, it seemed to take forever previously.
Yeah, during our pre-show, Kristen got disconnected, and she was back in seconds. Granted, the game had just started, but it didn't seem to fart around quite as long.
Yeah, it does bring you up to speed, has to replay through the whole damn game to figure out.
Yeah, and you're hearing all the noises, and you hear ohs and explosions and death, and you're just going, I hope that's not my computer.
You know what I hear the whole time? I hear my computer picking the worst talents. That's all I hear.
Choose a talent. You're like, no, stop, computer, please.
What are you doing? Also fixed was Brightwing's Soothing Mist trait will no longer stop functioning after coming under the effects of Zeratil's Void Prison. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that was even happening.
It would make sense, but I think it's worse for the team overall if it is delayed. So this is a good fix.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine you lock down a whole team with a Brightwing in there, and the second they get out of it, the pulses start ruining anything you had planned.
Yeah. Apparently there was an issue with Zeratil's Singularity Spike dealing more damage than it was supposed to when it was cast multiple times using the double bomb talents. That's been fixed. It's
Good.
dealing the amount of damage it should be dealing, which is always a good thing. Rainer's Adrenaline Rush ability. It's no longer going to cleanse movement impairing effects prior to learning the fight or flight talent. Again, another thing I wish I would have known, because that sounds like it would have been amazing to exploit.
I do feel like I walked out of more problems than I should have this past week.
The respawn waypoints set from the Lost Vikings tombstones, which, by the way, we didn't even mention that last week. Yeah, you can set waypoints from a dead Lost Vikings tombstone. So those waypoints, when set onto enemies, they will no longer track that enemy hero through the fog of war, which, again, apparently was happening.
That is important.
It's very important. Where'd he go? Where's Zagara?
Hang on, I'm dead. I got this.
We'll find her. We'll sniff her out. And then finally, spirits created by Chen's Storm, Earth, and Fire heroic ability will no longer fly across the battleground after using their triple attack or split up abilities to cross an enemy Zeratil's Void Prison.
What?
I
Excellent.
wish I had seen this in action.
Right? And why Void Prison? Why did that cause that?
It makes me think of like the broken Warthog physics in the old original Halo.
Exactly. And just makes you wonder at the majesty of a game like Mario 64 and how that was at all playable for everyone at home.
That's you took that to a place I wasn't expecting. While we're on the subject of blue posts and whatnot, Trickslayer got into the official forums this week and commented on a discussion that was happening about why people were asking why Chen has a second health bar when Tychus was removed. And Trickslayer said that Tychus had the second health bar removed as it didn't feel appropriate on an assassin. Chen, on the other hand, is a warrior. Trickslayer says it feels appropriate for a warrior to have a heroic in which he can tank a little extra damage. Which makes sense to me, but of course begs the question, what the hell is going on with the Vikings ult? What were you thinking? Why are they invulnerable to anything when they're on the longboat?
Yes. I think that's where all of our minds immediately go.
It's just like, yes, this is a really good, like, I totally agree with you, Trickslayer, but longboat.
Right. Longboat is incredible. It definitely saves the lives of your surrounding Vikings. I think Chen is just going to always be under fire a little bit because of Brewmaster in Dota 2 has basically the same ability with Primal Split. And when you kill all the split elementals, he dies. Doesn't respawn where the last one died.
Yeah, that's a good point. But, yeah, man, I just haven't, I've barely touched Dota since Heroes came out.
Well, you and me both. I mean, the shorter game lengths, the less toxic community, it's a great place to be. But Chen also took a huge hit in his overall damage, so I'm just not seeing any problems with him splitting at the moment. He's a tank, and I'm pretty happy with where that's at.
Yeah. In minor news this week, if you missed it, I highly recommend going to check out the Love is in the Air Anubarak skin trailer. It is amazing.
Adorable.
If you ever wondered what Tinder would look like in the Heroes of the Storm world, now you know. The Heroes team did such a good job on this trailer.
They really did. I loved Illidan's, dislikes women who lock me up for 1,000 years. And girl-stealing brothers.
Yep. Jeez. Oh, that's amazing. Also, Dustin Browder is going to be at PAX East this next weekend, not this Friday, but next, for a Blizzard panel where they'll be talking about upcoming content for Heroes of the Storm. There will also be discussions about Hearthstone and Overwatch. But for this show, Dustin Browder going to talk Heroes is a big thing. I'm sure we're hopefully going to see who the next hero is going to be.
Right, a lot of people are saying Sylvanas, but if you remember back, last PAX is when they showcased that short video of Sylvanas. So it'd be a little embarrassing to show that whole thing over again.
It would, but
Everyone's super stoked for it, and they want it anyway.
First, if they're going to show it, I don't think it's going to be the same damn trailer.
Right.
I'm sure she has changed. Otherwise, why isn't she out already? But,
yeah, the splash page for this particular announcement is a bit Overwatch heavy.
well, I believe that, I got to look at this real quick. Sorry. Have to load it up. I believe the splash page, it's recycled art from BlizzCon last year.
Gotcha.
It's the key art from BlizzCon. So that's why. You know, because I don't see them making brand new art just for a PAX announcement, but
Yeah, why not? I mean, they're just going to show off assets they have working on. You got to keep it pretty low key, but
yeah,
still, I'm not expecting too much Heroes news out of this thing.
right. And we also got a new skin for what Nazebo. I almost said Witch Doctor, but I guess it also would have been appropriate.
Yeah, that would have been correct.
Yeah, the Harlequin Nazebo, which creeps me the hell out. I can't stand it, but a lot of people seem to be really stoked about it.
Yeah, it's definitely got a Joker vibe to it, and it is
a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit creepy.
It is
a bit clownish.
I hate clowns, man. I don't like Witch Doctor as it is, and then you just put clown on top of my Witch Doctor. It's just
Right, with the shaking, and then they gave him a huge sword. Like, he doesn't need a sword. He's creepy enough. Got spells. I don't need to think about him stabbing me in the night like the poltergeist clown.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, creepy. That trailer for that remake looks interesting. And so, good on you, Nazebo fans. Hopefully, you like being even creepier than you already were. I still think his master skin is just cool as hell looking.
Oh, the big old mask.
Yeah, the huge armored mask. It's wonderful. Anyway, before moving to strategy, I want to thank our some patrons this week. If you are backing us over at patreon.com/ITN, we really appreciate it. We're getting very close to our $500 goal of having after show games every week. In which case, where we take patrons and folks from the chat room and do some custom games. It's a lot of fun. We do one once a month right now, but we'll do one after every single show if we hit the $500 goal. So thank you, patrons. And this week we wanted to thank Scott V, Sean V, Pear M, Alan G, and Michael. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. Let's talk some strategies.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
I have a PhD in PvP.
So Kyle, this week you had cows on the brain apparently.
I did. There is a cow level in Heroes, and it's called E.T.C. And he has gotten buffed because everything else has gotten nerfed, and he is currently a pretty rockin' hero. I mean, other team pick Stitches. If it's not Murden you're going for, it's E.T.C. at the moment.
Did you really just say he's a rockin' hero?
Man, I squeezed in as much as I could. Unscripted though, so
yeah,
I get Whose Lines It Anyways points for that, right?
Yes, just like Jana, who we saw kind of rising up the tier list as a result of everyone around her being nerfed. She had actually no changes. E.T.C. had no documented changes in the last patch as well, but he's a damn strong hero, and we got a couple emails in the inbox that had questions about him, so we'll discuss them here. The first email was from listener Jason, who wrote in, and he said, I love E.T.C, but it's so difficult when I'm not on the same page with my teammates' intentions, which is a common solo queue challenge. I hear that. He said, how do you play a tank in solo queue, like Diablo, for example, or E.T.C? Do you think it's better to play other champs that are effective with limited team communication? I don't think so. I used to solo queue as a warrior almost exclusively in the early days of this game, and it's fine.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming you're referring to Arthas.
Yes.
Who has a lockdown where the hero currently is standing. And I think that's really what we're highlighting here. Stitches, if he gets a hook off, everyone loves you. Like, you messed up a Tyrande stun, who cares? It was a hook. It was great. It looked sweet. Whereas someone like a Diablo grabbing someone out of a stun area, or E.T.C pushing things apart and ruining an area effect spell is much more detrimental.
Yeah, absolutely. But Yeah, I think it'd be just fine playing a warrior in general. As far as ETC, like you said, Kyle, he has the push ability, which will interrupt channeled abilities. Which right now, with as high of a pick as Nazebo is, anyone that can interrupt his damn ultimate, it's just amazing.
Right. And not only that, you have power slide to close in on them.
Yes.
So dive towards the Nazebo, face melt, push everyone back, and then your guitar solo, your E ability, heals you, which any warrior with a passive heal is just going to be on top in solo queue situations anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I feel like playing a warrior in a solo queue is really not that different from the basic tips when you're playing with friends, which is you're the guy that needs to kind of be in front. You want to try and keep everyone behind you, get in, absorb as many hits as you can. And I don't see why that's any harder in solo queue than it is with a. Obviously, anything's going to be easier in a coordinated team, but
right, communicate with your team. I mean, I love doing that Tassadar build with the infinite shields and the auto attack damage. But every time I start a game, I inform people that I'm going that build and make auto attacks if you were at low health after level 7. I had a Abathur I was playing with who, when he got the talent to, when he's symbioting someone, giving them 25% more attack speed, he typed it out. He does it every game, most likely. But these are important things to let your team know. So if you're playing E.T.C, basically, say, target who I push back. And if you're playing with an E.T.C or someone like a Diablo, like I was playing with one this past week, everyone was arguing, oh, Diablo, that's awful. I'm like, no, let's just trust him and target exactly what he grabs. And it went perfect.
Yeah. That's a good point. Any type of warrior that has an initiate like that, they should be calling the shots. And even in a solo queue environment, as long as everyone kind of like, I'm sure everyone's heard this before, like committing to a bad plan is better than not committing.
Right.
It's like if everyone is on the same page, much higher chance of success.
Exactly. And if the tank is choosing to dive for something, you got to agree with it. You don't really have a choice in this situation.
Yes. Yeah. Which isn't to say you should just blindly follow every warrior you see, because, dear God, the amount of people I've seen. I don't know what's in everyone's heads, Kyle, but everyone wants to go steal the mercs on the enemy side of the map way too freaking early.
Yeah, that works later on in the game when the respawn timers are sizable. Mm-hmm. But early on, it's pretty darn obvious. There's a lot of abilities that show, make sounds, go out of the fog of war, and let people know you're there in the first place.
Yeah. But no, I think Jason, you should totally stick with E.T.C, especially at the moment. He couldn't be stronger. It's a great time to be playing him.
Exactly, and the rest of this just goes into basic solo queue etiquette, and that if someone's pinging the curse on Cursed Hollow, type "I'm on my way." Just oh god, I'm dyslexic. I won't do the abbreviation. Just type "I'm on my way."
OMW.
And there you go. And that communicates so much better than a ping, and then people know you're a real person. You're getting that out of the way.
Yeah, we've talked about, what this game would be like if there was no chat, because it's something they did in Hearthstone, and it's something that I believe Dustin Browder even brought up, that they had originally tried making the game with no chat and just doing pings. And for the, yes, you could get away with a lot, but like you just said, when you're informing people of the build that you're going so that they can play better and do better as a result, that's something you can't get across with pings.
Right.
Maybe if we could draw on the map, you could actually start writing in script what build you're going, but
yeah, but we know what people would really draw.
Exactly, flowers and smiley faces.
yes, flowers and smiley faces.
Our other ETC email this week came to us from Christopher, and he said, I know you both have experience with tanks in the game, so what do you think of ETC? It seems like most people hate him because of his weak damage output, but I think that he is undervalued, and his survivability and abilities to interrupt are amazing. Makes for a great initiator, which is lacking in many of the games I have played. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Christopher wrote this before the most recent patch.
I believe he did.
I think that happened. I think this was an email reserve. Because, ETC is absolutely, like we've kind of been saying the whole show, definitely top of the tier at the moment.
He does have a weak damage output, though. If you can heal yourself, which I think is, in the table of Blizzard balancing, is what's given him such low basic attacks. So you're not getting anything done by yourself.
No, but damn it if you're not contributing to team fights.
Well, I put out a tweet right before the show today asking for all the best ETC builds out there favorite ETC builds, people who play them a lot. And I basically got sent the same exact build called Drop the Base.
Oh, yes. This is over on Heroes Fire. I think this is the top. Is this the top build?
Yep. And it is
Okay.
what everybody is using.
Yeah. I was looking at this week when I was hearing all this talk about how amazing E.T.C is now. Oh, they don't have a dot after the C.
Oh,
Formatting issues. Things a graphic designer notices. Okay, well, this is an interesting build. So just for the audio-only listeners, level 1 talent is block. Level 4 talent is Pawn Shop Guitar. Guitar solo's mana cost is reduced by half, which I love. I love Pawn Shop. I love that. It's wonderful. Level 7 talent Guitar Hero. This is when after you use Guitar Solo, your next basic attack strikes immediately and deals double damage and heals you for half of the damage dealt.
the important part there.
Yeah. Level 10 Mosh Pit. Every ETC seems to be doing this at the moment. I do have to say, Stage Dive, super fun for mobility, but dear God, the 4-second stun is just absurd.
It wins fights and it wins games. Stage Dive is incredible early on. When you first hit 10, you can just stay on top of that curse, die for it, come back in 15 seconds and dive right back in. This is one of those heroes, unlike Zagar, where you're like, Maw, Nidus Worm, both are so different. I'd love to choose. But this is the hero where I'm definitely like, can I have both? Can I Stage Dive in and then Mosh Pit?
But alas, you cannot, Kyle. I'm sorry. Level 13 is the Uber Rockstar, which is the Rockstar Aura also adds 20% bonus movement speed. Level 16 talent Guitar Instrumental. Guitar solo's duration is increased by 100%. And level 20, Bolt of the Storm.
So basically, pick everything that heals yourself and block. I think most ETC players, for the first time, end up looking at their level 1 talents, and they're like, oh, okay, these are kind of, what face melt? Everyone you do it to it, dance it. Oh, no, it's only minions. Damn it. Because you take that word away, and it is the most awesome thing on earth for a level 1 talent.
Yeah, no, I mean, this whole build, you're moving quickly, you're self-healing like crazy, and you're even doing a little bit of increased damage, which really helps.
But that's really augmenting your healing, because double damage and then getting 50% off that. Your other choices, there is a sort of damage build hidden in here, but it's not going to augment things to the point where you're going to be enjoying yourself.
Gotcha.
Level 16 Imposing Presence. I'm totally waiting for this to be a thing. Any heroes that attack you have their attack speed slowed by 50%, but no one's picking it right now, and it's just not very good.
I don't have enough experience with it to weigh in on that.
Yeah, just something for the future that could be awesome. One of those like tidbits on the cusp, like maybe in the long run, but for the most part, if you're fighting a good team, they shouldn't be targeting the tank anyway. E.T.C has the amazing ability, though, to be an annoying asshat and pushing you all around and interrupting everything. So you want to wail on him.
Like a month ago when we were talking about how the South Korean hero scene has come up with their own classifications for the heroes.
Yeah.
Can we do our own for Into the Nexus, like starting with annoying asshat?
It's like our S League. It's just asshats.
And then just mother effers.
Yep.
And then broken POSs.
Yeah, and we'll have like godlike heroes only when you're winning, like Thrall and Illidan.
Jeez. We need to do that. We need to make that happen.
Yeah, we'll make our own tier list. With blackjack.
Yes. Sounds great. Sounds wonderful. Let's take a few more emails before we end the show.
Darkness stopped calling.
I hear the wilds call. Wait, nature calls.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. First up is a little more of an announcement than a question. Our listener Brian has set up a rate call channel for us to use. You guys, listeners, everyone in the A-Move TV channel in Heroes of the Storm. We can have voice chat now, which is delightful. All of the details on how to join this, I'm going to say them right here, but if you want to see it written out or talk to Brian, all of the details are up on our subreddit over at itncast.reddit.com. But really all you want to do is install RaidCall, which is at raidcall.com. You have to create an account, but the important thing is the channel ID that's associated with it. So Amove TV's channel ID is 10554502.
Ooh, catchy.
Yeah. We tried really hard to find the most recognizable randomly assigned numbers.
Oh, we haven't even put this number into one of those phone generators where you can see what it spells.
Well, we're not. It's not touch dialing, so it wouldn't matter.
You just keep talking, man. I'm gonna figure out if we spell anything cool.
But anyways, big thanks to Brian for setting this up. And again, head over to itncast.reddit.com for more information and to exchange raid call information and whatnot. Look forward to getting some actual pre-mates going with a move chat channel, folks. It's gonna be fun. Be a good time. We also got another email this week from a listener who calls himself Lazy Peon. To which I ask, why are you so lazy peon? And he says, me not that kind of orc.
Wow, that was good.
I had to dig deep for that. He says, greetings. I feel like the quests, as they currently are ruining Hero League. Dun, dun, dun. Instead of playing the role that makes sense, players are choosing whatever they need to complete their quest. I totally understand this, and am guilty of doing this on occasion. I'd love to see a team that, or a team that rewarded players. I'm assuming a system or something.
Yes.
I'd love to see a system that rewarded players for taking a role that the team needs. For instance, the last pick choosing a tank or support on a team that doesn't already have one. What do you guys think? Well, I can't say I disagree with him, but I have no idea how you would implement a system like that. Like what he's saying here.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the system like it, and maybe this is what he's thinking of in World of Warcraft, where you get a little bonus gift if you fill up either a tank or a healer, whatever's most needed on the server at the time.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
But
then
I do.
but then that one person is being rewarded.
Right, and that only really works in a solo queue environment where everyone's not kind of fighting over who gets to be the bonus pointed tank. I do think that if you go in and make a custom game right now, you can set it to draft mode, which is really cool if you're playing with 9 other people and getting an actual draft together. But you can also set it to first come, first serve, so that the draft order actually just goes to whatever player picks first, which I would like to see become the permanent one, so that someone sitting all the way down at the bottom who's that boss Stitch player doesn't have to wait through 8 picks before he gets to go.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of chaotic, though. I mean, I kind of like the system as it is now, because you get to, you have time, you get to see what's coming, you get to adapt.
Right, and each player kind of gets their turn to be the first guy and pick exactly what they want to take out of the pool.
Right.
Whereas this would definitely be a contest as to who grabs the new hotness first, which would easily be just an assassin.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, if we did it first come, first serve, it would just be this dog pile. You'd have, 6 people all trying to click stitches at the same time or something like that. Just as an example.
Yeah. I agree. And, maybe if we do get that one hero ban in the very first, it could be something that, really brings people together in conversations and starts those in the chat. I'm rather aggressive. Like, hey, what are you picking? What are you doing? If anyone hasn't picked anything yet and I'm not going, I want to know what they're picking. Because I don't fill out my quests in Hero League. I go and, just play co-op with whatever and level it and get some gold or something.
Yeah, like I don't really feel that it influences my Hero League play at all. If anything, it entices me to play a role that the team needs that I would have otherwise not felt like playing. Like if I'm just kind of burnt out playing support, but I have a support daily and we need a support, I will pick Uther.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird. It really comes down to play style at that point, and I don't really think there's a better way to do the system, because as we mentioned before, how do you really gamify it and make it fair to where everyone has the chance to get that bonus and not just the last pick dude?
Right, and if you feel this is affecting your game, we might just be stuck until we can reroll quests.
That too.
There's something like Warcraft heroes. If it doesn't get all the way to the bottom where I am, and we don't have a tank, I pick Muradin. But other than that, like, there are very few opportunities for me to pick Jaina. She's very easily countered by a lot of things. And other than, I mean, I'm a StarCraft guy. I really enjoy picking those heroes.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. Being able to re-roll the quest will definitely help with this because you'll have a higher chance of getting the daily for whatever it is you like to play. But even then, it doesn't matter because you're not guaranteed that you won't get last pick and won't be forced into playing something else anyway. So, I don't know. I think the system's fine the way it is.
Sure, there's a lot of numbers that would be cool to see in the background. Like if you play a wide variety of things, how cool would it be to go last in that case? Someone like me who's very open to just filling out a role.
Yeah, I like doing that too. Because although now I really don't have a warrior I like playing. Because yeah, crap.
You could bring Arthas back, man.
No, it's not worth the effort.
Bring it back.
But thank you for your email, Lazy Peon. That's going to do it for this week's show. Again, another thanks to our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you are leaving us reviews in the iTunes store, thank you also. This week we wanted to thank Ted Smith, who said he likes that we are the no troll zone. So
he left that after last show, after we complimented all the trolls and their wonderful skill.
Maybe he liked how level-headed we were in our discussion. I don't know.
Perhaps.
If we were level-headed, I'm not sure. I'm assuming he just doesn't listen to what I say.
Fair enough.
Also, thanks to Nate J85 and Ribosomol. That's how I'm going to choose to pronounce that one. Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv and Declan H, our Patreon producer. Thank you, Declan. You can see more about this and all of our other shows at amove.tv. Once again, our email is itncast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at itncast. You can also send us questions there. Catch us live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't tuned in live, you should do so because the chat room is very fun. Hello, chat room. And you can check it out over at twitch.tv/amovetv or over at alphageekradio.com for the mobile live stream. And go check out Brian Griffith, the musician who made our intro music. His work can be found over at briangriffithmusic.com. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me at Kyle Ferguson, where I put up weekly Dungeons & Dragons articles. This week was a whopper, and it's still in process because the current 5th edition doesn't include any tools to help you make encounters. It just kind of leaves you to try it out and see what kills your group first, and then scale it back later. So that'll be going up this weekend.
Nice.
This Sunday, you can catch me on Stormcast, where I'll be joining those guys over at Spazbot Studios to talk about Asmodunks, who has become extremely popular since we originally scheduled the interview back in 2 weeks ago. So it'd be pretty cool to catch up on that. And
That's
that
awesome.
streams live at 9 p.m.
Oh, nice. Where does it stream? Oh, and what time zone? What time zone and where does it stream?
9 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/Spazbot Studios.
Cool. Go check that out. I love guesting on shows. It's fun.
Yeah,
It's a blast. Also, I produce these things, so it's really nice to just show up.
Yeah. Do you guys need me to make notes or something?
I don't need to run a recorder. I don't need to post this. I don't need to write a summary about the thing I just wrote. Cool.
I can play bumpers if you want, just so I feel comfortable.
I have a ton of music I could just start playing randomly. No, please don't do that. That would be awful. Thank you, Garrett.
By the way, the number doesn't spell anything.
What a shame.
Yeah.
If folks would like to follow me on Twitter, where I'm not trying to spell things with numbers, you can do so at Garrett Art. That's at GarrettArt, or over at nomoonart.com. That is my graphic design portfolio. I am a freelance graphic designer in my day job. So if you need a graphic designer, check me out. There's a contact form over there. I will see it. I respond to every request I get, and I will let you know if I can do it, if I'm busy, or I don't know, or if I smell funny that week and just aren't feeling up to arting. You know,
Fair
it happens.
enough.
It's just like, sorry, man, I stink real bad. I just can't pick up this Wacom pen. And also over on the Angry Chicken, a Hearthstone podcast. Man, I love talking to me some Hearthstone. I'm going to have to muster some serious positive energy, though, for this next week, because, man, have I had a rough week.
I mean, Jocelyn's running out of time. Hopefully she'll have all the positivity for you. That rank 1 spot.
She's kicking ass.
Yeah, man.
She's doing so well. I think this is the highest she's ever been. She hit 4 today. So
With a mech mage doing
big congrats to her.
demolishers?
Yes, she put a demolisher. Okay, I don't even care.
I love it.
Mini angry chicken right now. She put a demolisher in her mech mage, which if folks remember, if you've listened to the angry chicken for a long time, she did that, I think, with a freaking Zulok back in the day. And it worked really well for her. I think that was another time where she had a big boost in rank jumps, and it's just because she kind of tweaked the deck herself. So she's always had a soft spot for demolisher. She's playing mech mage. Demolisher's a mech. Kind of like, why not? And try it out. And apparently it's been working really well. And honestly, I've been trying her version of the mech mage, and it is fun as hell. And holy crap, does the demolisher do work. Because it comes out, it's a 1/4. Everyone's like, oh, it's fine. It's randomly assigning 2 damage. It's only at 1 attack. It's not a huge threat. They just leave it alone. This thing just starts pinging everything to death. It's amazing.
Oh.
So
I don't want to see that.
There you go. Never mind. I don't know. I never need to find positive energy for Hearthstone because even when I'm having a bad time, someone I watch play is having a great time, and it just fuels me up. So there you go. There's the positive Hearthstone talk for the week. So, Jim Bob, I'm not in the chat room. I am not sure where to find her mech mage. I'm sure you can tweet to Jocelyn and find it. Anyways, that'll do it for this week's show. Now that we are no longer talking about Heroes of the Storm, we're not running ads at the top of the show anymore because patrons are awesome, but we do still have sponsors. You can check out doghousesystems.com and tweakedaudio.com. The code to use is ITN. It will get you double memory for free on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig and directly support the show in the process. The same code, ITN, will get you 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds from tweakedaudio.com. It's finally light enough after 5 p.m. that I can go running again, so I'm getting a lot of use out of my tweaked audio earbuds, which I love so very much.
Is lack of light a problem in Florida?
When you live in an area with no sidewalks and it's a 2-lane road and it's heavily trafficked.
I forgot your house.
Yes, it is. Actually,
all of Florida, no sidewalks, just highways.
There's actually a ton of them where I live, but only in about we're in like this 3-mile circle of no sidewalks. So by the time we made it to the sidewalk, it would be time to turn around and run back to the house. So it serves no purpose. But anyways, check them out. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week for Into the Nexus episode 40. Until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.